Do your legs feel heavier, weaker, or more painful with each passing day? Does climbing a single flight of stairs now feel like a mountain? Even standing for a few minutes, or walking across the room, leaves you exhausted? If so, listen carefully. Because what I'm about to reveal may shock you. According to recent clinical reviews, up to 37% of adults over 60 are unknowingly accelerating leg muscle loss every single day, just by doing what they think is healthy. Worse yet, you might be one of them. Inside your daily routine, hidden in what you eat and the pills you take, are two specific vitamins that are widely promoted for bone and joint health. But the truth? They could be silently draining the strength from your legs, weakening your muscles, and placing dangerous strain on your joints. Yes, the very supplements you trust might actually be doing the opposite. Feeding fatigue, triggering stiffness, and making every step feel unstable and painful. And the scariest part? These threats don't come with warning labels. They're disguised as healthy choices, yet they fuel weakness from the inside out, one dose at a time. In today's video, we're going to expose the real truth. What's really causing your leg pain, fatigue, and joint inflammation. Why these healthy vitamins might be the hidden culprits. And most importantly, what you must avoid starting today to regain strength, mobility, and freedom in your golden years. Trust me, you won't believe how common these mistakes are. And the fix? It's simpler than you think. So before we dive into this eye-opening truth, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elderly Health Tips so you never miss another life-changing video. Now let's explore the foods and vitamins that are secretly weakening your legs every single day. Culprit 1. Refined sugar. Let's talk about one of the quietest destroyers of leg health in older adults. Refined sugar. As a physician with over 35 years of experience treating seniors across the U.S., I've seen firsthand what this sweet poison can do, especially to the legs, heart, and circulation. Here's what you need to understand. Refined sugar triggers inflammation at the cellular level. According to a 2022 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, even 50 grams of added sugar, that's barely over a can of soda, can spike C-reactive protein, CRP levels by 22% in older adults within 3 hours. This matters. Why? Because elevated CRP is a key marker of systemic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is directly linked to muscle loss, joint stiffness, and vascular damage in the legs. Think of it like this. Every spoonful of sugar is adding fuel to a fire you can't see until it shows up as pain, swelling, or fatigue in your lower body. Another overlooked danger? Reduced blood circulation. Refined sugar leads to insulin resistance, which damages the endothelium, the lining of your blood vessels. When that happens, arteries in your legs begin to narrow. Blood struggles to reach your muscles. And the result? You feel cold feet, numbness, and even cramping when you walk. This condition, called claudication, is one of the earliest signs of peripheral artery disease, and sugar plays a big role in accelerating it. Let's not forget weight gain. Every gram of excess sugar that isn't burned gets stored as fat, especially visceral fat, the dangerous kind that wraps around your organs and weakens your legs. A 2023 review in JAMA Internal Medicine linked excess sugar intake in older adults to a 34% higher risk of mobility loss within 5 years, even among those who weren't technically obese. So if you feel like your legs are getting weaker, heavier, or harder to move, don't just blame age. Look at your sugar. Here's the good news. It's reversible. But you have to act now. Start reading labels. If you see corn syrup, cane sugar, fructose, dextrose, put it back. Swap out sugar with cinnamon or stevia. Cinnamon helps improve insulin sensitivity. A sprinkle in your oatmeal or coffee makes a huge difference. Add more fiber. Foods like chia seeds, oats, or even roasted veggies help slow sugar absorption and prevent blood sugar crashes. Walk after meals. Just a 10-minute walk after eating can lower your blood sugar spike by up to 40%, according to the Endocrine Society. How to tell if sugar might be hurting you. Ask yourself, do my legs feel heavy or restless at night? Do I crave something sweet after every meal? Have I noticed swelling or tingling in my feet or calves? Am I more tired after eating than before? If you answered yes to more than one, it's time to rethink what's on your plate. Culprit 2. Fried foods. Let me be clear. Fried foods are one of the fastest ways to damage your circulation and silently increase inflammation, especially as we age. As a physician who's spent over 3 decades working with older adults, I've seen this pattern far too often. Take Bill, one of my longtime patients, 68 years old, retired fireman from St. Louis. He came to me complaining about cold, tingling feet, difficulty walking upstairs, and occasional swelling in his ankles. At first glance, it seemed like typical vascular aging. But after reviewing his diet, he was eating fried chicken or French fries almost every other day. What most people don't realize is this. Fried foods are loaded with trans fats and oxidized oils, especially when cooked in reused or high-temperature vegetable oils. According to a 2021 study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, trans fats contribute to a 32% increased risk of cardiovascular events, and this risk doubles in people over 60 who already have signs of reduced circulation. Why does this matter for your legs? Because these damaged fats don't just raise bad cholesterol. They cause stiffening of arteries, especially in your lower extremities, leading to sluggish blood flow, tissue damage, and longer healing times for even the smallest injuries on your legs or feet. Fried foods also spike systemic inflammation, something we can't afford as we grow older. A 2020 study from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health showed that people who consume fried foods 4 times per week or more had elevated IL-6 and TNF-alpha levels, 2 key markers of chronic inflammation that are linked to arthritis, muscle wasting, and even cognitive decline in seniors. And yes, this inflammation doesn't stay in your gut. It travels through your bloodstream, affecting your joints, your vascular walls, and even your brain. That's why so many older adults who frequently eat fried foods report more joint stiffness, slower movement, and increased fatigue. So how do you know if fried foods are already taking a toll on your body? Look for these warning signs: legs that feel heavy or cramp easily, cold feet or numbness during the night, slower healing of small cuts or bruises on your shins or toes, swelling around the ankles after meals, general fatigue, especially after fried or greasy meals. These aren't just aging symptoms. They're your body waving a red flag. Now, I'm not saying you can never enjoy your favorite foods again, but you can make smarter choices, starting today. Switch to air frying. Air fryers use up to 80% less oil, preserving flavor without the harmful fat load. Use stable oils. If you must fry, use avocado oil or cold-pressed olive oil. They're more heat-resistant and far less inflammatory than corn or soybean oils. Balance your plate. Pair fried foods, if you have them, with antioxidant-rich veggies like spinach or broccoli. They help reduce post-meal inflammation spikes. Hydrate and walk. Drink a full glass of water after a heavy meal and walk for at least 10 minutes. This improves digestion and supports blood flow to your legs. Culprit 3. Processed meats. Let's talk about a food that many older adults eat without a second thought: But that could be silently wrecking your circulation and inflaming your joints every single day. I'm talking about processed meats, things like bacon, sausage, ham, hot dogs, deli turkey, and packaged cold cuts. Most processed meats contain excessive amounts of sodium, in many cases more than 600 milligrams per serving. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults, which means just 2 servings of deli meat can put you over the daily limit. Too much sodium pulls water into your bloodstream, raising blood pressure and making your heart work harder to pump blood through stiffened arteries. That's a major problem for leg health, because it leads to reduced circulation to your extremities, swelling in the feet, and a higher risk of blood clots and peripheral artery disease. In fact, a 2022 study published in Hypertension found that adults over 65 who consumed processed meats 3 or more times per week had a 46% increased risk of developing vascular complications in the legs. But salt isn't the only concern. Processed meats are preserved with nitrates and nitrites, chemicals that prolong shelf life but also promote inflammatory reactions in your body, especially in the joints and blood vessels. A 2020 review in the BMJ British Medical Journal found a clear link between nitrate-rich processed meats and increased levels of C-reactive protein. CRP, a blood marker strongly associated with chronic inflammation and accelerated muscle loss in older adults. This means your morning slice of bacon may be contributing to joint stiffness, fatigue, and weakness in your legs, even if you think you're getting protein. Now here's the part I love, because you can do something about it. Start with real protein. Swap deli meats for freshly cooked chicken, turkey breast, or canned fish with no added salt. Use herbs, not salt. Season your food with garlic, rosemary, or lemon instead of sodium-heavy marinades or spice mixes. Choose nitrate-free options. Look for meats labeled uncured or nitrate-free. They're not perfect, but they're a safer option if you're transitioning away from processed products. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Water helps flush excess sodium from your body and reduces swelling in your feet and legs. Let me ask you, how often do you eat deli meats or bacon each week? Culprit 4. White bread. Let's take a moment to talk about something that might be sitting in your kitchen right now. White bread. It may seem harmless, soft, familiar, and easy to digest. But for older adults, white bread can be a silent saboteur of muscle strength, blood sugar balance, and even long-term mobility. One of my patients, Frank, age 70 from Phoenix, started having trouble maintaining his energy during morning walks. He said he felt fine after breakfast, usually 2 slices of toast, but by mid-morning, he felt shaky, tired, and sometimes even dizzy. A few simple tests later, we discovered the issue. Blood sugar spikes followed by sharp crashes. And the culprit? That seemingly innocent white toast. White bread is made from refined flour that's been stripped of fiber and nutrients. That means when you eat it, it digests very quickly, dumping glucose into your bloodstream almost immediately. According to data from the Harvard School of Public Health, white bread has a glycemic index, GI, of around 75, which is considered high. For comparison, a slice of white bread raises blood sugar as fast as table sugar. This rapid rise and fall in glucose creates what we call glycemic volatility. And in older adults, it can cause energy crashes, muscle fatigue, increased hunger shortly after eating, and eventually, insulin resistance. That's exactly what was happening to Frank. His morning toast gave him a boost, but an hour later, he felt like he hadn't eaten at all. The other big issue with white bread? It lacks fiber and muscle-supporting protein, 2 things that older bodies need more than ever. Fiber slows down digestion, and helps maintain stable blood sugar. Protein provides the building blocks your muscles need to stay strong, especially as we age and naturally lose muscle mass, a condition known as sarcopenia. In a 2022 study published in the Journals of Gerontology, adults over 65 who consumed diets low in fiber and protein were more than twice as likely to experience muscle weakness and mobility limitations within 3 years. So when you eat white bread by itself, with no protein, no healthy fat, and no fiber, you're essentially feeding your body sugar with no support. The good news is, you don't have to give up bread entirely. You just need to upgrade your slice. Switch to whole grain or sprouted grain bread. These breads have more fiber, a lower glycemic index, and better blood sugar control. Pair bread with protein or fat. Add nut butter, avocado, or a boiled egg. This slows digestion and feeds your muscles. Try high-fiber alternatives. Rye bread, seeded bread, or even high-protein wraps can give you more nutritional value with every bite. Avoid white bread on an empty stomach. Never eat it alone, especially not in the morning when your blood sugar is most sensitive. Culprit 5. Ice cream, milk chocolate, and canned foods. Let's talk about a group of foods that may seem innocent, even comforting. But for aging bodies, they're quietly fueling inflammation, water retention, and muscle weakness. I'm referring to ice cream, milk chocolate, and canned processed foods. One of my patients, Gloria, 76 years old from Michigan, came to me complaining of frequent bloating, puffy hands and ankles, and a lingering sense of fatigue. She wasn't eating fast food or anything too heavy. In fact, she believed she was eating light. But a closer look at her diet revealed a different story. A cup of vanilla ice cream after dinner, 2 squares of milk chocolate with her morning coffee, and a pantry stocked with canned soups, chili, and ravioli. Here's the problem. These foods are typically very low in nutritional value, but high in additives, preservatives, and refined sugars. According to a 2021 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, ultra-processed foods like sweetened dairy products and canned meals contribute to over 60% of total dietary additives consumed in the U.S. diet, including emulsifiers, thickeners, and synthetic flavorings. Many of these compounds, especially monosodium glutamate, MSG, and phosphates, have been linked to increased inflammation, fluid retention, and electrolyte imbalances, all of which strain muscles and impair circulation. For seniors, this can mean swollen limbs, heaviness in the legs, and worsening muscle fatigue. Ice cream and milk chocolate also pack a double punch: high sugar and dairy fats. Excess sugar spikes blood glucose and insulin, while dairy, especially when heavily processed, can trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals. A 2020 review in Frontiers in Nutrition found that older adults with high intake of added sugars and emulsified dairy products had greater levels of interleukin-6, IL-6, a key marker of systemic inflammation associated with reduced muscle strength, slower gait, and even memory decline. And let's not forget, most milk chocolate products are not actually rich in cocoa antioxidants. They're mostly sugar and milk solids. Think these might be affecting you too? Here are the signs to watch for: swollen hands, ankles, or eyelids, feeling unusually tired after small meals, muscle cramping or general weakness, puffiness or bloating, even without overeating, slow recovery from walking or basic chores. These symptoms often don't point directly to one food. But when they're consistent, ultra-processed, sugary, dairy-rich foods are often the hidden cause. You don't have to give up all your comfort foods, but it's time to upgrade your choices. Trade ice cream for Greek yogurt with fruit. You still get a creamy texture, but with protein and probiotics instead of sugar and emulsifiers. Choose dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa. It contains antioxidants and far less sugar than milk chocolate, without triggering insulin spikes. Cook fresh when you can. Instead of canned soup or chili, prepare a simple pot at home with whole ingredients. Freeze portions if needed. Watch the label. If it contains more than 10 ingredients, especially things you can't pronounce, put it back. Now let's move on to culprit 6, excess vitamin A. Let's take a serious look at something that's often overlooked in the supplement aisle. Too much vitamin A. We all know vitamin A is important for vision, immune health, even skin. But when it builds up in the body, especially in older adults, the consequences can be surprisingly harmful. Unlike water-soluble vitamins like B or C, vitamin A is fat-soluble, meaning it doesn't flush out easily. It gets stored in the liver and fatty tissues, and over time, that buildup can cause toxicity. According to a 2019 report from the National Institutes of Health, NIH, chronic intake of vitamin A above 3,000 micrograms, RAE, around 10,000 IU, can lead to muscle pain, bone fragility, and impaired mineral absorption in older adults. High doses of vitamin A can actually stimulate bone resorption, a process where old bone is broken down faster than new bone is formed. A major study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, 2002, showed that postmenopausal women with long-term vitamin A intakes above the recommended levels had a 1.5 times higher risk of hip fractures compared to those with moderate intake. That risk is even greater when calcium or magnesium intake is already low, something very common in older adults due to poor appetite or medication side effects. And because the symptoms, like muscle aches, joint stiffness, and fatigue, are so common in aging, vitamin A toxicity often goes unnoticed. Here are a few red flags I tell my patients to watch for. Achy muscles or soreness that doesn't improve with rest. Joint pain that flares up, especially in the hips or lower back. Tingling or numbness in the hands or feet. Brittle nails, hair thinning, or dry skin. Sensitivity to bright light or headaches after taking supplements. If these sound familiar, it's time to take a closer look at your supplement labels. Here's what I recommend to most of my senior patients. Stick to food-first vitamin A. Prioritize natural sources like sweet potatoes, carrots, and leafy greens. These contain beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A only as needed. No overdose risk. Avoid doubling up. If you already take a multivitamin, skip additional vitamin A unless prescribed. Look for retinol-based doses under 2,500 IU, 750 micrograms RAE for daily safety. Support mineral absorption. Ensure you're getting enough magnesium and calcium, especially if you're taking any kind of fat-soluble vitamin. Get tested if unsure. Your doctor can run a serum retinol test to check your vitamin A levels, particularly if you have unexplained pain or frequent fractures. Let's uncover culprit 7. Excess vitamin D. Let's talk about something surprising. Yes, you can have too much vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential, no doubt. It supports calcium absorption, bone density, and immune health. But when it's taken in excess, especially by older adults, it can backfire. Hard. I remember one patient in particular, Carl, 71, a retired postal worker from Oregon. He came in with symptoms he couldn't explain. Tightness in his calves, frequent muscle cramps, and a dull ache in his lower back. He was taking 5,000 IU of vitamin D daily, sometimes more, because he'd heard it was good for the bones. But it turns out, too much of a good thing was hurting him. Here's what happens behind the scenes. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. That's good. But if you take too much, your body starts pulling in more calcium than it can handle, leading to a condition called hypercalcemia, high calcium in the blood. According to the Endocrine Society, chronic vitamin D intake over 4,000 IU per day, without medical supervision, increases the risk of hypercalcemia, which can cause muscle stiffness, painful cramps, fatigue, confusion, kidney stress, or damage. A 2020 review in Mayo Clinic. Proceedings found that older adults taking more than 10,000 IU per day for extended periods had a significantly increased risk of kidney stones and soft tissue calcification, both of which impair mobility and muscle function. Here's the part most people don't realize. Too much vitamin D can actually weaken your muscles, not strengthen them. Excess calcium in the blood can deposit into soft tissues, including the muscles in your legs. This makes them stiffer, heavier, and more prone to spasms or cramping, especially in the calves and thighs. I'm not saying you should cut out vitamin D completely, absolutely not. But for older adults, balance is key. Get your levels tested. Ask your doctor for a 25 OD blood test. The optimal range is 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Anything consistently above 60 should be reevaluated. Avoid megadoses unless prescribed. Stick to 800 to 2,000 IU per day, unless you have a diagnosed deficiency. And be mindful of multivitamins or calcium supplements that may include additional vitamin D. Stay hydrated. This helps your kidneys flush excess calcium and prevents stone formation. Increase magnesium intake. Magnesium helps regulate vitamin D metabolism and reduces cramping. Leafy greens, nuts, and seeds are excellent sources. Even an essential vitamin like vitamin D can become harmful when taken in excess, leading to high blood calcium, muscle cramps, stiffness, kidney strain, and leg weakness. Symptoms like tight calves, ongoing fatigue, or dull back pain might not just be getting older, they could be signs your supplement is working against you. That's why it's so important to check your dosage and aim for balance, not the more, the better. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Elderly Health Tips, your trusted space for staying healthy, active, and in control as you age.